Alors bonjour tout le monde, c'est le Red Drum de Goldosh pour un autre épisode de Nier. On continue l'histoire, on a fini, on était rentré complètement dans le fameux, les fameux raids des villageois. Et le narrateur avait dit, ouais, started and Mayor's mouth twitching slightly. On continue. Now see here, he said. Are you saying that we have been absorbed into your dream? Well, yes, said the mayor. I think you have. Oh, crap, said Reynolds. So that means we've caught the death dream. Before the mayor could confirm Reynolds' suspicion, Weiss exploded with rage. Ridiculous, preposterous, completely unfathomable, on every conceivable level. I don't even recall falling asleep. The mayor attempted to take Weiss's complaints in stride. Just the death dream worse, he said, brushing aside the book's remarks. My remarks shall not be brushed aside, fool, and it will behoove you to remember that this world allows me to view all of its narration. The mayor twisted his mouth into an embarrassed grimace, then quickly changed the subject to who Reynolds had seen, and what they had discussed, since coming to the village. Something there must have caused you to enter my dream, said the mayor. A certain conversation, a specific word, something. Reynolds and Weiss racked their brains, but could find no easy solution. There were simply too many words to consider, too much random chatter, too many meaningless conversation. Grimoire Weiss does not engage in meaningless conversation. The mere suggestion that Weiss chose his words carelessly seemed to sting his pride. It does not seem to sting my pride, you bloated gasbag of narrator. It has demolished it utterly. Irritated, Weiss looked skyward, as if searching for answers in the heavens. I was doing no such thing. Just leave me alone already. Vous allez voir, le narrateur s'en prend vraiment à Weiss. C'est assez drôle. The anger created by his harsh word bled over to Reynolds like a contagion. Wait, says Reynolds suddenly. Did someone just say contagion? Yes, I believe so. What of it? Well, that villager told us to watch out for contagious words, right? The mayor leaned forward with renewed interest, pushing his startled Weiss aside in the process. Well, he must have said something, right? Asked the mayor. Some specific combination of words. What was it? It was about dreaming or something that dreams or... Oh, what the hell was it? A sheep, cried Weiss suddenly, blurting out the first thing that popped into his head. The others stared at him for a moment before slowly shaking their heads. After a few more minutes of thoughts, Reynolds' face suddenly lit up. I remember, he said, those who dream. That's what he said, I'm sure of it. At this, the mayor produced a thick sheaf of papers from his pocket. He flipped through them a few times before finally nodding his approval at Reynolds. That sounds right, he said, as a stray sheet of paper fluttered to the ground. My notes also mentioned something about that. I bet it was the last thing you heard before you fell asleep. The mayor shook his head, his worn pencil stubs tracing lines across a lone piece of paper. For the last month, I've done nothing but study the disease we call the death dream, he said. I mean, I'm the mayor, right? It's my job to protect people from whatever comes along, but I never expected a couple of outsiders to start entering people's dream. The mayor paused, a grimace crossing his face. I should probably be taking notes or something. Weiss immediately fired back. I applaud the force of will it takes to research a disease in your dreams, he said, but perhaps we should bend your effort to escaping this place instead of trying to understand it. The mayor's hands tightened around his pencil, snapping it off at the tip. I've tried to escape. From the very first moment I realized I was locked inside my own dream. I've been looking for a way out, but I don't think it exists. I mean, this is my dream, right? If there was an exit, I'd know about it. He paused for a moment, his unfocused eyes staring at nothing. My village was beautiful, he said to no one in particular. and it was filled with the most wonderful people you could ever hope to meet. But once the disease took hold, things changed. It's like someone took a sponge and soaked all the color out of our lives. I just want us to be whole again. I want us to be free. The mayor's voice took on a note of steely determination, and I won't stop trying until it happens. Renaud nodded in agreement. Wait a second. I didn't nod. Why are you? Look, if we can be of any help, said Renaud, just ask. Now hold on, I did not just say that. Là, c'est vraiment bizarre parce que tout s'entremêle. Silence, cried Weiss. The grimoire looked from Renaud to the mayor and back again, his face filling with confidence. Grimoire, Weiss's face is always confident, thank you very much. Now see here, Mayor, you told us that nothing can exist in this dream without you knowing of it. But yet you seem surprised to see us when we first arrived, yes? The mayor slowly raised his head, realization dawning on his face. Oh my God, he said. You're right. I had no idea you were coming. The human imagination is at limitless, Jane, said Weiss, and dreams are the fuel. If you can imagine an exit, then it must be so. With your permission, we shall search it out. Thank you, said the mayor. I don't know how I repay for you. Payment is not required. We are as eager as you to be done with this place. The mayor suddenly felt as if he could breathe again. He had almost forgotten what it was like. Good luck, you two, he called at the departing forms of Reynolds and Weiss. We are all counting on you. Et là, la musique arrête. As Reynolds slowly laded into the misty forest, the mayor was struck by a sense of déjà vu. I saw this man once before, he thought, but where? Reynolds' mood darkened as he trudged through the forest. Hours earlier, when the beauty of the place was still a new thing, he'd been confident they could get in, find the exit, and be home at time for dinner. But the deeper they went, the more the forest closed in around him. The mist made it difficult to see more than a foot in any direction, and moss-covered rocks seemed determined to twist his ankle. More than once he'd be forced to steady himself on the rough, dark bark of a tree, and his hands now felt small trails of blood on everything he touched. Additionally, Weiss was proving to be an spectacularly poor traveling companion, unhindered by either talent or physical effort. He spent most of his time urging Renaud to pick up the pace and grumbling about their slow progress. Finally, after Weiss muttered something about legless turtles being more adept at navigating the environment, Renaud snapped. You know what, Weiss? He cried. Go to hell. We're stopping. I need to rest for a few minutes before I throw up. Renaud leaned against a tree and tried to stretch the knots from his back. How can this stupid forest be so goddamn big? He muttered to himself. The moment the words stumbled from his mouth, a cacophony of insects sprang to life. As if infuriated by his lack of respect, every imaginable form of buzz, click, and a hiss roared out with a volume that rattled his teeth. Reynolds slapped his hand over his ears and screamed to be heard. Weiss, what the hell is going on? Reynolds could see Weiss' mouth moving, but he might as well have been shouting in a tornado. The insects screamed, the forest howled, and then, just as Reynolds' ears seemed ready to tear from his head and go running for cover, the sound diminished. Instantly, Renaud removed the hands from his left ear and listened to the creatures of the woods. As the insect symphony dimmed enough to decibel, Renaud began to detect patterns in the sound. This isn't random, he thought. It's not just white noise, it's something else. The insects weren't just calling out, they were asking a question. 1 with it suffer, 2 with it is dial, 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? By my pages, is this a riddle? I guess so. This kind of thing happens a lot in dreams, right? Maybe it's the key to getting out of this place. Then I have it to you to answer. 1 with it suffers, 2 with it is ideal, 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? The answer is a secret. The answer is a woman. How the hell should I know? Là, faut choisir. Faut choisir entre les trois. Un nous fait souffrir. 2, c'est l'idéal. 3, c'est dangereux. Ça a plus rapport avec le secret que woman, ça a plus l'air d'une blague un peu sexiste, quand même assez drôle. Well, how the hell should I know? On mettra pas ça. Inwardly furious that Weiss left the task to him, Reynolds signed and gave the only answer that made sense. It's a secret. Huh? Right? The sound of the insect stopped suddenly as it began. The forest undergrowth parted before Reynolds like a rippling wave, opening a new path. These forest arthropods are making a road for us, said Weiss with glee. Pleased at passing the test, Reynolds moved on with new intensity. The path offered his body relief from the undergrowth, but gave even greater cheer to his mind. As long as they were on a path, their journey had a purpose. I guess the forest accepted us, huh? Said Reynolds after a bit. Weiss spun around to face his companion. Do not mistake the will of this forest for some happy pet you can suddenly befriend. We have no idea where this path leads. As Weiss finished speaking, the pair turned the corner and found themselves facing a clear forest spring. Smiling, Reynolds picked up a small rock and sent it skipping across the surface of the water. Good heavens, said Weiss. His surprise was understandable. Each time the rock struck the surface of the water, a musical note rang out. When the rock finally stopped moving and sank to the bottom of the spring, the ripples it left behind came together to form words. I entered through the window, but I break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Oh, celui-là est quand même facile. Absurdly crazy, barked Weiss. Now answer it. Reynolds grit his teeth and tried not to reach out and strangle his companion. He's right after all. This one is pretty easy. I enter through the window, but I break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? C'est clairement sunlight. Sunlight. A plume of water suddenly burst into the spring. Sunlight flittered through the trees and reflected off the plume, creating a shimmering rainbow that spanned the entire horizon. In all my years, said Weiss softly, I have never seen such a sight. Perhaps I have misunderstood the intention of this place. Hey, look! Cried Reynolds, waking Weiss from his daze. There's a house or something over there. Glancing in the direction of his friend's extended hands, Weiss saw a small cottage nestled upon the trees. That's weird, isn't it, Weiss? I mean, who would build a house all the way out here? Reynolds walked over and pounded on the door. After a minute of solid banging, the door cracked open and a small man peered out. His body was clothed from neck to toe in a large black cape, while his face was obscured by mist. Began Reynolds, but before he could get any further, the cloaked man held a hand up and began speaking. I have 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon, but I end the night with 3. What am I? Le son. Oh boy! Et la parole qui est arrivée dans la chanson, ça m'a fait peur! Je pense que c'était quelqu'un qui me parlait en arrière. Wow! La beauté des écouteurs, je veux dire. I have 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon, but I end the night with 3. What am I? Reynolds tried to ask the cloaked man who he was and what he was doing here, but he simply repeated the question. If we wish to engage this man in conversation, said Weiss, it seems we must insert a riddle. Yeah, I suppose, said Reynolds, but at least it's an easy one. Je la comprends pas, mais bon. I have 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon, but I end up the night with 3. What am I? Ça, je l'ai déjà entendu, mais il me semble que c'était un homme, mais je l'ai jamais compris vraiment pourquoi. Oh, well. A man? The mist dissolved with the cloaked figure as he spoke a single word. Correct. Je me souviens plus pourquoi. J'ai déjà entendu cette énigme-là, puis je savais que c'est pour ça que je savais que c'était un homme, mais j'ai jamais vraiment compris pourquoi. Si quelqu'un sait pourquoi, écrivez-le en commentaire si vous êtes rendu si vous avez toffé jusqu'à cette bout-là du vidéo. With that, the man flung his garment aside, revealing his true identity. You're the mayor! Cried Reynolds. The small man slowly shook his head. I'm not the mayor, you know. Now listen to my words. Long ago I saw a version of you that was not yourself. You saw... Wait, you saw what? I'm sorry, I don't understand the thing you just said. It will make sense in time. At present, I simply congratulate you on cracking the seal of the death dream. Now you must go to the man at the forest entrance. With what? The man turned on his heel and stamped... With what? The man turned on his heel and slammed the door behind him. As Renaud watched, mist seeped up from the ground and enveloped the cottage, erasing it from existence. When Renaud and Weiss returned to the forest entrance, they found the mayor leaning against a tree. As soon as he caught sight of the duo, he sprang to his feet and scrambled over the dam. "Good gravy!" he cried. "You made it! You actually made it back!" His left hand grasped Ronald's and pumped it so furiously it threatened to dislodge from the socket, while his right seized Weiss by the cover and swung him through the air. "God, by the heavens, stop shaking me, fool! We have not even told you if we were successful or not." The mayor smiled broadly and shook his head. "I'm just happy you're alive. I didn't think I'd ever see you again." Reynolds withdrew himself from the mayor's eager handshake with a slight smile. "We broke the death dream seals," he said. "At least, I think we did." The mayor's face beamed as Reynolds filled him in on the details. When the tale was done, the three of them laid down on the forest ground and fell asleep. "Wait a second. That's crazy. Why will we just lay down and go to sleep? This is one hell of a story. Cease your endless prattle and go to sleep, fool. Fighting against the rule of this place is futility itself." Reynolds and the mayor obediently reclined atop the grassy hearth. "Have you forgotten?" continued Weiss. "It is words that control the death dream, words that allow us to move from place to place. No matter how unnatural they seem, the words are absolute. Therefore, if the words tell us to sleep, then sleep we shall." C'est comme un hommage aux personnages des histoires, c'est assez intense ce bout-là. "And once we do, the story will continue." With that, the trio found their eyes growing heavy, their breath slowing. "This is the first time," began the mayor, "the first time I have felt tired since I was imprisoned here." His words were cut off by a long yawn, and he remembered nothing more. They might have slept for an hour or a year. When they woke, things had a slightly more real quality to them. The mist felt thicker, the leaves greener. It was clear that they had awakened from their dreams. Reynolds shook the mayor's shoulder gently. "Good news," he said. "We made it." "Oh, wow," said the mayor in a wearied voice. "We did it. I'm back." He blinked once, twice, as though not quite believing the sight before him. "You two have no idea how much this means. The death dream has started to spread through our village, and I wanted to... Well, I thought I could figure out how to stop it, but I guess that wasn't the case. I must have caught the disease and become trapped in my own dream." The mayor started to stand and collapsed back to the earth. He stared at his leg, as if trying to remember how they worked. They then glanced at Renaud and shrugged. Without a word, the fighter reached down and pulled the mayor to his feet. "Real life may take some getting used to." A grim smile crossed the mayor's lips. "You shall relearn in short order, I'm sure," said Weiss. "For now, you should return to your home and rest." "No," said the mayor, swaying on unsteady feet. "No, I can't. Some of the villagers are still trapped in the death dream. I have to save them." The mayor slowly made his way to the divine tree in the center of the village, then bowed his head and prayed silently. "This is holy tree," he explained when the prayer was finished, "as the guardian of our village's history and memories." "Superstition will only make our missions harder," muttered Weiss. "We shall not put our faith in the gods." The mayor shook his head. "Not the gods, the words. Legend said that our tree is home to a powerful magic known as sealed verse." Renaud and Weiss could not contain their surprise. It seemed the gold has been found at the most unexpected of places. "I say," muttered Weiss, "this is certainly a stroke of luck." As the three of them said their goodbye, Renaud mentioned the strange man who had given them the third riddle and the mysterious words he had left them with. "I once saw a version of you that was not yourself," muttered the mayor. "What in the world?" Lost in thought, he stared into space for a long moment. "You know," he said softly, "this is going to sound weird, but I had a feeling I'd seen you before, too." Renaud tried to keep a strained face and failed, but the mayor didn't seem to notice. Deja vu, right? Anyway, I figure it's just some kind of illusion created by the dead dream. It probably doesn't mean anything. Ronald gave the mayor a nod and a smile, but inwardly his thoughts was racing. There's something wrong about the mayor and his words. I wish I understood what the hell was going on here. The riddle will prove to be the most difficult one of all. Oh, thank you so much. Now I can finally return to a normal life. This is one of the most bizarre diseases I have ever encountered. I know, that's why I have help to the other villagers, no matter what. Et on a gagné le Silver's Execution Magic. Dark Execution, excusez. Et ça, je vais vous montrer ça. For Silvers, that didn't take much effort. Yes, all a touch too easy, if you ask me. It's almost as if someone was guiding us to this village. You think too much, Vice. Donc, ouais, je vais vous montrer ça. C'est pas ce piton-là, c'est ce piton-là. Magic and Abilities. Dark Execution. Oh, regardez, ça fait... C'est assez cool, je vais vous l'avouer. Vous pouvez le concentrer, ça va en mettre aux 4... ça va en mettre 4 rangées, un à chaque côté de vous, puis... Donc ça peut sembler assez fort, mais on dirait que je réussis jamais à bien l'utiliser, donc j'utilise assez rarement. Ça va assez loin aussi. Là. Je sais pas ce qu'ils disent, eux. Sûrement. This must be another veteran. Prepare that way, yes. Ah ouais, on peut faire ça. Eh ben on va le faire. Tant qu'à faire un long vidéo qu'on fait juste parler, là, on va le faire. Gods, please don't tell me we have to go back in there. I'm no good at this mind game, scrap. I'd rather do something to face with it. Perhaps you should spend the time complaining and more time getting on with the missions. Yeah. I stand it with death and resist the urge to laugh, for I know it will sound like the words of a madman. How long have I been in the fresh hell? My box, my prison. It tucked under a stairway in the long unused catacombs of some infinite castle. Outside, I hear the sound of a funeral dirge that seems without end. Light has no place here. Wind is a forgotten friend. I pray for death to come, but he forsakes me. Time passes, and eternity slips by in the single trick of the clock. Someone knocks on my prison. Hey, anyone here? I hear an unfamiliar voice say, my savior. I claw the door of my jail, embedding thick splinter under my ragged nails. I scream for help. I laugh. I sob. Surely this is a product of my idle mind. Surely it cannot be true. Help me, I cry. For the love of all the gods, help me. And possibly, I hear the sound of a lock being torn out and falling to the floor. As the door slowly creaks open, I have just enough time to see a silver-haired man in a floating book before the light pours inside. My eyes, accustomed to blackness, explode with pain, and I am forced to turn away. Who are you? I ask, shaking heads covering with face. How have you come to this place? I am Grimoire Weiss, this is Renaud. Long have we been searching for you. Now come, stand, we shall awaken from the nightmare together. The one known as Renaud extends his massive hand and pulls me from the cell. Though my eyes are slow to adjust to freedom, my ears are as keen as ever, and they recognize the staccato sound of heavy rain. I never thought to hear the rain again, I whisper. Should that this were not such a terrible storm, said the Grimoire Weiss. Look at your feet. I force my eyes open and see water pooling around my feet and lapping at my shins. There's so much of it. Yes, and more comes each moment with delay. If we do not make good our escape, we shall all drown in this castle. We know that you are weak, but you are our only hope to survive this place. Time, that long-forgotten friend, made itself known again. I nodded my head and swore to save my rescuers, no matter the cost. The castle catacombs are a maze, twisting upon themselves like the endless entrails of a giant. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. Oh, on a choix, hein? At the end of the corridor, I find a new and 20 gorgeous canopied beds resting atop a carpet of velvet, all covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. Searching to the door to the next room, I come upon a shapeless man of grey matter. It has been shoved against the side of the wall, and despite my fever, I think I see the outlines of the door just beyond. When I reach out a finger and touch a piece of the mass, it turns to dust and drifts away of the winds. Realization slowly dawns, and I fall to my knees and weep. Corpses. I face a mountain of charred and crumbling corpses. I look from it to the beds and back again until the horror dawns fall upon me. Someone has piled these bodies into a tower and set them ablaze. Whether they were alive or dead, I do not know, and sanity will not permit me to consider the proposition further. I make a sound, whether a scream or laughter, I cannot be certain. Then my mind grants my merciful blackness, and I find myself opening the door and leaving that most terrible of rooms. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed east or proceed south. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. Squint down the dim corridor and proceed east. I squint down the dim corridor and proceed west. Squint down the dim corridor and proceed south. Squint down the dim corridor and proceed north. The water has risen to my chin and now laps greedily at my mouth nose. The dumb bast, shouts Renault. He surely desired to say more, but the rest of the soul is cut short by the rising water. Clément Rice, wet and tattered, floats on the water's surface. It is already too late for him. This wasn't how it was supposed to end. Quoi? Ben non! T'as comme pour un fucking game over. Oh boy. Je vais voir si... Ok. On a encore tout. Mais voyons donc. Faut connaître genre le chemin par cœur, c'est impossible. Bon ben fuck ça. Hein? Vraiment fuck ça. Bon ben c'était tout pour aujourd'hui. C'est Randall de Galoche qui vous dit à la prochaine.